As I sit outside of my homestead here in the Shire on my Hobbit, I am reminded of the time when I first played this game when it launched, and I was coming off of, I believe, Vanguard Saga of Heroes and EverQuest 2 at the time. And I remember being struck by the fact that for the first time ever, I was able to log into a game that was Middle Earth, and I fell in love immediately. And every year when I am asked the question, what is my favorite MMORPG of all time, I always reply, Lord of the Rings Online. And that's despite the fact that it is an older game now. It looks and feels a little outdated in terms of the graphics and the engine that it's using. And they haven't done as good of a job as, say, Blizzard has of updating their game to modern standards with, a new engine and better graphics and so on and so forth. But it doesn't really change the fact that Standing Stone Games has done a phenomenal job of continually updating this game with storylines and fresh content and new things to do. I believe the most recent expansion was the Corsairs expansion, which came out a little earlier in 2023, adding the River Hobbits as a race, the River Hobbit starting area, the Mariner class. We actually previewed the River Hobbit housing area with Listelia from our community a couple months back in late 2023. But I'm rambling here because the question in today's video is, should I play Lord of the Rings Online in 2024? And this is the annual version. I do one of these every single year on my channel. I've got several hundred videos in my Lord of the Rings Online playlist. Links are down there. And every year I come back to this game and I play every single year. And the funniest thing about Lord of the Rings Online to me is the fact that despite the fact that I've played this game since it came out in 2007, I think it was, this is the only MMO that I've ever played where I don't have a max level character. My highest level character is my lore master, who is outside of Osgiliath looking for Faramir right now. I think he's like a level 104 or something. We can check the character list here in a few minutes. I've never felt compelled to finish or to get to the end of the game because there's just so much here. Standing Stones Games has done a phenomenal job of creating Middle Earth, an expansive, amazing place where you can truly come and live and feel like you're in Middle Earth. And the best thing about this game is that it's not based on the films. It's based on the books. So we get all of the richness of that text, that lore. And when it comes to the writing of Lord of the Rings Online, one of the reasons this game has always stood out to me as one of the best MMORPGs of all time is because the quality of the writing, it very much feels Tolkien-esque. They have done a great job. Now, on the flip side of that is a lot of people who don't like to read text have complained that this is a text-heavy game, and that's one of the things that turns them off to it, because there are few voiceovers here, but it is mostly a reading game. You're going to be doing a lot of reading here, and especially if you're focused on the epic quests, the main storyline where you're following along in the footsteps of the Fellowship of the Ring on their way to Mordor and Mount Doom, you're going to be reading novels-length text dialogue windows, for whether it's narration or quest updates or just storyline in general. There's a lot going on in this game. So before we get diving into the full meat of this video today, if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams happen at 8 a.m. Central Time, multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch now that we're in 2024, and play a lot of different games. Check out the playlists. The day-to-day stuff happens here on YouTube. We do lots of game guides, movie reviews, TV shows, of course, different types of games, tabletop stuff as well. There's a Discord. There's also member videos if you want to dive into what we're doing with the science fiction anthology that we're working on right now with our community members, and also the analytics that I do from time to time, talking about my channel growth. So check out all those things. But let's talk a little bit more about Lord of the Rings Online here for a little bit. Let me move this window over here out of the way and open up the map so that we can talk about just the world of Middle Earth. So, hang on, I want to go out to this map. So, one of the things that I always tell people when it comes to, should I play this game? Should you play Lord of the Rings Online, regardless of what year it is? But let's talk 2024. Yes, you should. There's a lot of reasons why. First and foremost, if you're going to be coming into this game as a free-to-play individual, you can play the game for free with very little restrictions. Most of the restrictions in this game are related to like quality of life features. As an example, if you want to be able to do fast travel, like the instantaneous travel between destinations, you need to be either a current VIP subscriber or have previously been a VIP subscriber on the character that you're playing. If neither of those are true, then rather than being able to fast travel between a destination, you could still use the mount system, but you're going to take the long way. It's going to take you, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it's going to be for you to ride between destinations. So the quality of life features are really what you get with your monthly subscription. Plus, you get access to things like the monthly coins that you can spend in the cosmetic shop and things of that nature. And it's mostly just quality of life stuff. Also, this is a game where if you are a VIP subscriber, you get access to more content than you do as a free-to-play player. But let's talk first and foremost. If you're going into this game free-to-play, you can play up to level 90 and all the way up to Helm's Deep, which is, I think, the 4th expansion. It was the base game, Moria, Isengard, Rohan, Helm's Deep. So the 5th expansion, I think, maybe. So it's all those years of content for free and up to level 90. There's a ton of content that you can play free to play. And then if you really get into this game and you want to go VIP, you get access to a whole bunch of other stuff and all of those quality of life perks like fast travel. So the map here, this is the map of Middle Earth as we know it, right? Now, if we go down here and we can go into each one of these areas, like we have Mordor, Gondor, Rohan, Rovanion, and Eriador, and those are the main areas we're going to be focused on right now. Each one of these areas features dozens of zones that you can go explore. And this is a zoneless game. It is a seamless game. So let's just start in Eriador. I always like starting here because one of the series that I used to do here on my channel, I haven't done it, and I think I quit doing it about 2 years ago. It was called LOTRO Tourism. And so what I did was I literally was following in the footsteps of the Fellowship, starting in the Shire, and we were doing weekly episodes, and we were just traveling a little bit. And this was alongside of me reading through the Mondays in Middle Earth podcast that I used to do, which where we were going through chapter by chapter of the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, the Return of the King. And so we started in the Shire, and we worked our way east, and we went to Bree, and we went to the Lone Lands, to Weathertop, and then we went to the Trollshaws and Rivendell, and then from Rivendell to the Misty Mountains and the Gate to Moria, and into Moria, and all these places. So once we get down here into Eriador, you're going to see that there's all these different places we can explore. So let's just say we wanted to start off in the Shire if we were a hobbit. So you're going to start off here. There's Mickle Delving down here. You have Hobbiton. You've got Bywater, Budgeford, Woodhall, Stock, Frogmorton, Tuckborough, all these different places. The Shire Homesteads, which is where I'm currently located with my characters. I'm here with my house. Actually, we could turn around and see my house behind me. This is my little hobbit hole that I have. But starting off in the Shire, this is like a level 1 to 20 experience right here. It's one of many newbie zones that you can start off in the game in, and there's just tons of quests here, and it feels very much like a hobbit place. It feels like the Shire. You could do things like run around and collect pies and help deliver pies. You could also do tavern crawling, pub crawls. There's lots of food, lots of drink. You can have pipeweed and ale and all sorts of other stuff. There's tons of amazing roleplay opportunities in this game, but just great storylines to follow through. And then from here we can go, okay, once we get into the Bree lands, let's take a look at Bree. And here's all this stuff we can do in Bree. This is another area that you can explore. And then we've got like the North Downs, and we've got Angmar, and we can go over to where's it at here? I think we have to come out back from here. Evendom. There's like Evendom. I closed the map on accident. Then we can go into, say, like the Yondershire was something they added 2 years ago. I think they added this with the 15th year anniversary. Was that 2023 or 2022? I don't remember. 2022, I think. But the 15th year anniversary, where they added a bunch of content into the game, the new starting area, the Yondershire. Actually, this wasn't a starting area. This was like level 20 plus. Beautiful, beautiful area. Had a lot of fun doing the quests here. But it's just it's part of the active content that Standing Stones Games has continued to bring to the game, because technically the official story from the Fellowship of from the Lord of the Rings storyline stopped when they got to Mordor, which was several years ago now, and they have since continued to patch storylines into the game and expanding things within the appendices of the Return of the King, and just kind of also playing around with things like the Shire and having new areas within the Shire that maybe were only briefly mentioned, but they can flesh out in a little more detail using their own imagination and sort of the Shire as a reference sort. So just in terms of places you can go, we start off in Eriador, and you can explore all those places within Eriador. Then you get to Eregion, and you get to Moria, and you get into Moria. Moria in and of itself is a massive, massive, massive expansion. You can spend a lot of months just in Moria. Then you get into Lothlorien and the Dimrill Dale. And then from here we can go to the Vales of Anduin, or we can go to Mirkwood and the Great River. By the way, the Great River, this is a lot of fun when you're following this storyline. You get down to, I believe it's when you get down to Proth Celebrant. Anyway, there's stuff in here when you are following in the footsteps of the Fellowship, and you get to watch Boromir and what happens to him and Merry and Pippin and all these crazy things. Then there's Fanghorn Forest. The best time that I've had in the game so far has been playing through the Rohan expansion. Rohan is awesome, especially when Theoden gets to meet the Ents and he's having this moment, and it's all the dialogue from the books. And then when you're in Edoras and Gandalf's there, and you're getting the spirit of Saruman out of Theoden. There's just so much great stuff in this game. But then Gondor has been an absolutely amazing expansion to play through. And like I said, one of the reasons I've never leveled a character up to max in this game is because there's just so much to do and so much content to see that I'm constantly turning around and like, one of my friends wants to play that's never played before, and it's like, I will totally roll an alt and play through this area because I haven't seen it before. Even if it's my 10th time seeing that area, I don't have a problem seeing it because I love Middle Earth. It's that much fun. So in terms of content, free to play, you can go up to level 90 and all the way to Helm's Deep. And then beyond that, you need a subscription or you need to buy expansion packs. There's a lot to see and do here. So in terms of value for your money, yes, Lord of the Rings Online is totally worth playing in 2024. There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's no longer really an MMORPG, even though technically it is. It is now these days very much a single-player RPG that you can play by yourself, and there's optional group-based content that you can choose to participate in if you want to. Totally optional. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. I would say that when it comes to the types of things you can do in the game, there's your normal everyday single-player RPG storylines. There's all the world quests, the zone quests. Those are all themed. Then there's the epic book quest, which is you following along in the footsteps of the Fellowship of the Ring and working alongside the Dunedain, along Aragorn, Gandalf, Legolas, Gimli, Frodo, Merry Sam, Pippin, Boromir, so on and so forth, and following their journey all the way to Mordor. That is known as the epic book story in this game, and it's very well done, and it has some of the best writing in the game. But then there's the zone quests and everything else. But then there's also things like they have the war missions that you can do. There's also skirmishes where you can go into these skirmish zones, and which are like instances where you can have a companion, an NPC companion that comes along with you, and you can do those little repeatable instances. There are dungeons that you can do, and there are raids. But this is the one area where I will say that Lord of the Rings Online has sort of fallen behind the times in terms of a lot of other games, like, as an example, Star Wars: The Republic, which is an older MMO, and World of Warcraft, which is an older MMO, but both have managed to modernize their engineering to some degree where you have a matchmaking system that it makes it very easy for you to get into groups if you want to do group-based content. That is not the case in Lord of the Rings Online. It does not have an easy matchmaking system. You still very much need to, you could put yourself in this list, but the list still requires you to have manual discussions with people about doing content, as opposed to a matchmaking system where it automatically groups you up with people and puts you into a dungeon and goes from there. So if you want to do group-based content in Lord of the Rings Online, it's a little more challenging than it is in other games that have modernized with matchmaking systems, because it's still kind of antiquated in that regards. It does look a little older in terms of the game, but but that's just part of its charm, I would argue. It definitely doesn't look, I would argue that it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't necessarily look as modern as many other games. But and I'm not trying to make an excuse for it. What I am saying, though, is that one of the reasons I've always played this game is not necessarily for the character models, but for the beauty of the world and just being able to immerse yourself in Middle Earth. And I realize that we're only showing a small portion of the game here because I've done hundreds of other Lord of the Rings online videos. You can check out the playlist below if you really want to, explore the beauty of Middle Earth. They have done a good job of doing what they can with the engine that they have and the assets they're using, and it does look very good for what it is. But you could definitely look at this and say, oh yeah, this is a 2007, 2010 era MMORPG as opposed to something that might have launched a few years ago. Whereas like modern World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Republic, they've done a good job of modernizing their art style, even though it is a stylized style, and keeping the games looking fairly fresh and modern, updating shaders, updating all these things, updating character models. They've done that here. They've definitely updated character models, but they haven't updated the world stuff. From time to time, they do little things, but it does look and feel its age in some areas. But if you like a slow-paced game with a rich, deep lore and great music and just a huge amount of territory to explore, this is a great game. Considering it's free to play, up to level 90, you have nothing to lose if you've never tried this game before or if you haven't played it in many, many years. The one area that I will say they do sort of... This is a tricky thing for me to say because I'm one of the people who will defend whatever choice a company makes when it comes to in terms of monetizing their game. If you love the IP, then you'll support the game no matter how they choose to monetize. But it can be frustrating if you are a new player coming into Lord of the Rings Online and you want to get up to speed, because whereas other games like World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Republic or things where you can just buy like whatever's the most recent expansion pack, or just pay a subscription, you get access to everything, or you buy an expansion pack that has everything that came before plus the current one. They don't do it that way here. While you can play for free up to Helm's Deep and everything else, beyond Helm's Deep, your only two options are either to pay a monthly subscription and get access to everything while you're paying the monthly subscription, or you have to buy each individual expansion pack. Like, they don't offer an all-in-one version where you could just get all the expansions in one. You have to go out and manually buy each individual expansions. And that can get quite pricey, and that's something that turns a lot of people off to this game in terms of they don't feel like they want to justify spending $150, $200 to get all the expansions, which is why I always say, well, just do the monthly subscription then, and you're paying your $10, $15 a month, whatever it is, depending on how much you choose to pay for. And then you can just play, and you don't have to worry about spending that. And then whenever you're done, and you can come back to it at a later point in time. I personally don't own any of the expansion. Like I did buy the quad pack years ago for my brother and I, because he has 2 accounts, I have 2 accounts. And one of the accounts I bought the quad pack for when they used to offer that, because they did at one point in time offer the first 4 expansions up to Rohan. But ever since then, I've just always gone VIP and also sub up for about 3 months at a time. I play every year. I usually play for about 3 months. Sometimes it's only 2, but I play for a couple months, and then I go and play other stuff. And then this is the one game like Star Wars: The Republic will I come back to every year or so. About every 12 to 18 months I come back, I pay for 3 months, I play for 3 months. I do a bunch of new guides and everything else, and I progress my characters a little bit more. And I will continue to play this game until the day it sunsets, because there's just so much stuff to do. And yes, there's crafting, there's the housing system, there's like mounted combat, which I'm not a big fan of, but some people do like it. And there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. And there's lots of classes to play as well, which gives you a wide range of stuff. And they've done a very good job of adding new storyline over the years. Like I said, occasionally dropping new, I'd say they add a new race or a new class every 2 or 3 years or so. But Standing Stone Games, this is definitely one of their big IPs along with Dungeons & Dragons Online. And I don't see this game going away anytime soon. We may see something happening when we get to the new MMORPG that Amazon producing, but that's still another 4 or 5 years away at the minimum. So we've still got a long road ahead of us with Lord of the Rings Online. So if you've never played this game, or if you haven't played it in a very long time, and you would love a chance to sink your teeth into Middle Earth again, you should definitely give Lord of the Rings Online a shot in 2024. Just understand there are some quirks that are a little bit older. Also, Standing Stones, They do have some quirkiness with their servers occasionally where the performance is not that great and it doesn't matter what system you're running. There's some hitching and stuff that can go on. So there definitely are some quirks to things. But beyond that, it is a great game. There's a healthy, thriving community on all of the servers. There's no reason for you not to give it a shot considering that it's free to play. And then if you really want to enjoy it like I do, just go whole hog, pay a subscription, get access to all sorts of cool stuff in the shop, and just really sink your teeth into Middle Earth. Anyway, if you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop your comments down below. Don't forget daily streams at 8 a.m. Central Time here and on Twitch because we're multi-streaming in 2024. Check out the playlists, join the Discord, support if you can. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. Happy gaming.